Welcome, people of Gwent. By the powers vested in me, in the times of the approaching Gwent Masters, I hereby declare that pro players of Gwent decided to nominate those cards to be changed in the upcoming Balance Council vote, starting with the power increase of cards like Bear Witcher Adept from Skellige, a Great Oak from Squirtle, and Alba Armored Cavalry from Nilfgaard. In the opinion of the Pro Council, those cards immediately have effect on the Gwent meta if changed, and additionally to those two, they do propose a change to a River Hunter reversal to the 2 power, because each card in Gwent deserves to be playable. And the second change is, according to my notes, Zoltan Shivei. You can read motivation behind each of the cards on the post link in the video description. Also, don't forget to like and share your opinion about this, because this is created for making a discussion, but also each vote matters. We have a community vote, and this is the last one before the Masters, so pro players are concerned about meta being even more widely disturbed than after the first council. A reminder, or notice that only 5 changes per each bracket gonna be happening in the upcoming vote. But now, moving on with the power decrease nerfs, we have nominated Incubus, Madame Marquise Serenity, and Oxenfur Scholar. Oxenfur Scholar is a tad too good for the neutral bronze card, so maybe deserves slightly less power on its body to begin with. Madame Marquise Serenity is making her way into every syndicate deck nowadays. People might have been hesitant to spend 13 provisions on her when Wise was at its most powerful state, but nowadays, yeah, Madame is there, 3 engines, scary stuff. And Incubus is the same. He is in most monsters decks. If you don't feel like nerfing any of those cards, you can just leave it blank and don't vote for anything. And then let me just see the notes. Prince Willem is another card that you can put into this bracket. And it's an interesting way of using the power decrease, not as a nerf, but as a buff, to get another consistency or semi-consistency tool as he tutors the gods. But yeah, you put less power to enemy side of the board. And knowing that dozens and dozens of players in Gwent struggle to win with the Simulate, we see Artorius Vigo buffed to 3 power in the latest community vote. Maybe we should revert that, because even if you are a casual player, there is still chance that Nilfgaard Assimilate is a good deck, and Bratens and Artorius were played even without the power buff in the latest community vote. And for further consideration, there are the provision nerfs of Roach, River Scout, and Magic Compass suggested. Magic Compass and Roach kinda go together, because Truski played in the Polish Gwent Championship that you can check out on this channel, and he was pretty successful in his Skellige games, even when underutilizing the provision cap of Onslaught Leader. So he was running a deck that wasn't using its full provisions, floating 10 of them. Cards go together into the Skellige. Golden Necker deck, but Roach is a wider problem because he feels like an auto-include in each and every Golden Necker deck if you are building one for any of the factions. Maybe it will be more interesting if that 9 provision high-end slot was not being just booked by the horse, especially since the 8 provision slot is also booked by the dog. So maybe to have some extra variance between the Golden Necker decks, we can have Roach outside of that. Magic Compass is a nice activator of many decks, but everyone is abusing it with the Onslaught leader, so that seems to be an influential change and maybe opening a door to more scaling decks for player consideration. And River Scout is going together with the River Hunter. So River Hunter was suggested for a reversal of going to 2 power, but at the same time, if you are voting for that change, please vote for River Scout nerf, because otherwise River Hunter is gonna be everywhere. But why is this card problematic? Mutant Generator was nerfed in the previous community vote, but even at 7 provisions it doesn't go anywhere, especially with the Scout buff. And now Scout has 5 provisions, synergizing with a bunch of cards it can copy, providing 10 carryover per turn. Also, River Scout, unlike the Slave Driver that we are addressing later, has more activators that are cheap, like Casting Contest. You have the Flotsam Order, so that's a 9 provision card that reactivates it. You have Adale, you have Shani, you have Inspired Zeal, and unlike Slave Driver, and it creates the full copy of a card, not a 1-powered copy of it. Other consideration is once again using provision increase as a buff for Hidden Cache, giving another tool to syndicate decks. Already some success was shown with this deck in a couple of community tournaments. Lerio played it, Huramalka played it in Nyx community battles. And the other card is Novigrad, the card that was released at too good at 10 provisions, nerfed by the CDPR to 12, and now, surprisingly, community voted to knock 1 provision off it. Card is incredibly strong, but as with every and each vote suggested, it's your call. What are you voting for? This is just suggestion from pro players who are concerned about the meta leading to the tournament, but also looking at the changes that might be influential immediately. And now for the provision nerfs, welcome to the special section of Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard, why did you kill this faction? Massive nerfs to Nilfgaard altogether. The first suggested card is Vilgefortz. At 10 provisions, it's well, not what it used to be, but important notice, it only summons bronze cards nowadays, so did he really need to be nerfed, considering that CDPR already addressed it and after years and years changed its ability so that your Seamless is staying safely in deck when Vilgefortz is being used? So a 10 provisions card feels a bit bad. So the suggestion is to move it back to 9. Next card, Thirsty Dame, probably one of the most controversial ones, because card definitely feels like a 6p card, but with the nerf to other aristocrats, this allows Nilfgaard status deck to free up 2 provisions in one go. So if we had 6 months, we could have buffed Emir, we could have changed power of multiple cards, but it's hard to organize, and well, the status kind of disappeared from the meta after multiple nerfs. So that's up to you to decide. Do you want the status or not? But that's a suggestion. The last card on the bracket is Slave Driver. You can compare him to the River Scout, but there are details because, as I mentioned, all the activators, Slave Driver doesn't have as much. It creates 1 power units, and all most Slave Driver targets were nerfed in the community vote number 1. So if you have any love for Nilfgaard, or you want the Gwent card game to have 6 factions with all the playable cards, this is a suggested reversal, because otherwise we only seen 1 Nilfgaard deck among the 8-player Gwent tournament lineup, so Nilfgaard was mostly non-existent. Other cards that community is cheered to vote for are, let me see and address this. Land of the Thousand Fables is one of the cards, because you can decrease its provision. It is a Golden Necker deck tutor, but at the same time there are just things you can do with the card's order. So in search of memesters of Gwent, this is a nice activator, and it's an expensive tutor, so not that easy. Another card is the Living Armor, another construct, opening potential to build more interesting Golden Necker decks, unlike with the addition of Roach. This is a card that synergizes with some armor cards in Scoia'tael, in Skellige, and in Nilfgaard in Alchemist. So those are the suggestions. Remember that your vote matters. Remember that this is just a council of pro players from Team TLG, Team Elderblood, but they also talked to some players from other regions, or at least discussed it, and a week was spent for coming up with this list. So yeah, this is not a Kungfoorabbit's list. I agree with most of them, but my final list might differ here and there. Hopefully this video helps, and please read Pajabol's and Mayamon's posts on the matter, and you have 7 days to decide what do you want to vote for. So thanks for watching, drop a follow, спасибо, что смотрели. Этот лист сделан проигроками из команд, которые участвуют в мастерсе через месяц, так что у них, конечно же, свой интерес. Но в то же время все причины изменений доступны на Reddit, почитайте. Спасибо за просмотр. Bye!